A very good morning to you all. I welcome you all to 39th Annual General Meeting of Tasty Bite Eatables Limited. It's 11 a.m. right now, time which is scheduled for Annual General Meeting of the company. My name is Milind Bande and I am Chief Financial Officer, and I again welcome you all to this AGM. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our new chairman, Mr. Pradeep Poddar. Please give him a big round of applause. He has a tremendous success record. He is a guru in his own right. He has tremendous experience in sales and marketing. He has headed a lot of multinational companies and considered a stalwart in his own right in the industry. I would also like to introduce you to Mr. Dave DeSange, who is a non-executive on your board and is a mass representative. Ms. Emanuela Orth, she is also an independent and non-executive director. Our Mr. Chengappa, Dr. Chengappa Kanpati, he has been associated with us for a very long period of time. He's been adding a tremendous amount of value, thanks. And Mr. Rajendra Jadhav, you know him, all of you know him very well. He's been with us since last 32 years and added tremendous amount of value to this organization. Last but not least, Mr. Kawas Patel. I welcome you, Mr. Patel. He is also an independent director on our board. He also chairs our audit committee, stakeholders committee, and risk committee. I also would like to welcome and introduce Ms. Rama Kannan. Sorry, my bad. She's also an independent director. So I welcome you all once again and welcome all the board of directors and chairman. I'll continue with the process. So the company has received two number of proxies from shareholders holding 30,170 number of shares within the stipulated time. It is brought to the notice of the shareholders that the register of directors shareholding is open for inspection pursuant to the provisions of Companies Act 2013. I request Mr. Pradeep Poddar to kindly address the shareholders, please.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear me. It's a privilege to be here today as I speak to the shareholders of a fascinating company which was built by Ashok Vasudevan, the previous chairman. He was a visionary who built a company from nothing to in the listed 1,000 companies in this country. The year that has gone by was very fascinating, coming out of the COVID situation that the world faced. And I'm amazed by the tremendous amount of energy and positivity that I feel in this company. We all believe that this country is at an inflection point. The world is looking at India differently and in an amazingly positive manner. I've been associated in building businesses in this country for over 30 years and as heading those companies. And I've been talking about this point of inflection in the early 2000s, but to make it into a reality, it has taken over nearly 25 years to happen. So this is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to leverage. We have to leverage. If we miss this moment, we may miss a lot of things in building a company. Our business performance, hence, is an enlightening point to all of us. We have come back to the growth trajectory. The growth has been 27% in revenues, which is extremely good, and we should be positive about it, and followed by nearly a 40% growth in the Q1 of this year. I think these are two very important statements that one makes and one feels in this organization. And that has been brought about with the people in this organization. And they have taken the purpose in their own hands to build this organization into this next wave. The consumer business, which drives and which is primarily in the US, has done very well. The US has not seen these sort of inflation rates. We are talking about over 5% inflation in the US. US has had an inflation of at least 1% over the last 35 years. So to see a 5% plus inflation is mind-boggling to anyone in that country. But that country has given us huge amount of growth during the last year. We grew tremendously in the US at about 34% in branded Tasty Bites in the retail. And that has encouraged all of us to look at the business in the retail much more positively. We were also impacted by the COVID. In terms of the costs went through the roof. The transportation cost was very high. Because we are selling to the US, the logistics cost increased significantly. And the raw material cost also. We get in raw materials from across the world, which cost us much more than what it was. But still, the people put their heads together. Today, the tomato price is over 200 rupees a kg. But we don't spend that money in buying tomatoes. We buy tomato paste. And that is a relationship with our processors, which Raj will help you understand better when you ask him about it. But there's tremendous work that has gone behind. We see the ultimate result, but the thought and the effort that the team has put in has created a lot of value in terms of our financial performances, which you are all pleased to listen to and engulf in. Today, the stock price of the company has gone up significantly, obviously for the results that was declared yesterday. Our food service business, which is primarily in India, did well, came back on its own, but we are faced with challenges in the food service business going forward. This is because of the evolution of this business in this country and the statutory and the regulatory GST that has come into play. So the companies who were buying like Unilever, etc. from us are rethinking in terms of whom they should be venturing into in buying going forward. So we are faced with challenges in the food service, but I think that should not be a negative. We should be looking at evolving to the new demands of the market and the new demands of the consumer and the customer. There were challenges during the year. We look at the year under review. It posed headwinds for us, as we have already talked about in many businesses. The ongoing Russia-Ukraine combat changed the way logistics was looked at, and that has yet to get resolved globally. So we have to open our eyes to what is the reality of the world and what role do we play in the evolving reality in this in the coming years. The most important thing any business should be looking at is sustainability. It's not just words that people play around with, but it's something that we believe in, and it should be talked about from our own hearts and our souls. And this company, despite its size, has set into motion a lot of actions and initiatives in the marketplace to ensure sustainability. How many of you know that more than 78% of the energy that is used in manufacturing is derived from renewable energy, in sources of renewable energy in our factories? I think that's a tremendous amount of knowledge that this team has built in the villages, and that is through focused efforts in the marketplace. And we want to build around that. It is not limited to what the government has said, such a percentage of the net profits over the last 3 years, but it's also what we feel we can give much more than what we have spent so far. Our strategic priorities going forward is very important. This company has been built around a factory and supply source in this country, which is extremely good, which is extremely positive, because India has the advantage of purchasing power parity. What is purchasing power parity? You have the source, you have all the materials, you convert that through your intellectual capability, and you have the consumer base in this country to absorb that. We don't need any other country to support this country to grow. So it is not 82 rupees to a dollar in terms of purchasing power parity. It comes to only 10 or 15 rupees to a dollar. So getting a local supply chain helps us build businesses in this country. And that is where we should be focused on. And what is the focus is to build the Tasty Bites brand in this country. India is a point of inflection. The consumers are waiting for be good and do good products, and we should be able to provide that through the brand Tasty Bites. And that is going to be our purpose going forward, in addition to sustainability that we talked about. And it's a very simple thing. I'm explaining it in a very simple manner. I'm not talking about any jargons out here, but this is what will build this company going forward. In conclusion, I'm very optimistic about this company. It's small, it's about 500 crores. It should be building into a 2,000 crore business within the next 5 years. And with your support, I think we should be reaching there. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Many thanks, Chairman. I'll throw light on the auditor's report. The Companies Act 2013 does not require the auditor's report to be read here in the AGM, as there are no qualifications on financial transactions in the auditor's report having any adverse effect on the functioning of the company. It is an absolute unqualified report. I'll come to now poll announcements. I request poll to be taken. As required under Section 108 of the Companies Act 2013, the company has provided e-voting facility to the shareholders to cast their votes electronically in respect of all businesses mentioned in the notice. The e-voting facility was kept open for a period of 4 days from August 5th, 2023 from 9 a.m. to August 8th up to 5 p.m. Mr. Vineet Parikh is appointed as a scrutinizer for scrutinizing the e-voting process, and Instapoll will submit his report on e-voting to the chairman. As per Section 107 and 108, there will not be show of hands at annual general meeting. Therefore, in spirit of good corporate governance and to enable the members present at the meeting in person to cast their vote, Instapoll will be taken in respect of resolutions contained in the notice. Mr. Vineet Parikh will act as a scrutinizer for Instapoll to be taken. Members may please note that there is no requirement of proposer and seconder in Instapoll under the new Act. The results of e-voting and poll will be declared on receipt of the scrutinized report and placed on company's website on or before 11th of August 2023. With the permission of the chair, we may now take up the questions from the shareholders. Thank you.
Yeah, very good morning to the management team. So I have, yeah, very good morning to the management team. Myself, Saurabh Ginodia, I've come from Calcutta to attend this AGM. I have a couple of questions. First is, Tasty Bite has already started production for Mars as the outsourcing partner for brands like Ben's Original and Seeds of Change. So wanted to know, sir, how has been the scale up of these brands in terms of numbers, if you can just put some perspective, and how big opportunity this can become going forward, and how are the margins in this segment? And apart from these two brands, what are the other potential brands where Tasty Bite can act as a manufacturing outsourcing partner for Mars? And in the last AGM, Chairman sir has mentioned that management is putting significant amount of effort to examine some opportunities below the market leaders in the QSR segment. So how has been the success or ramp up on that side?
Okay.
And in the first quarter, if you can put some perspective in terms of number, what was the breakup of sales in the consumer and the food services part? And any numbers if you can put on the contract manufacturing for Mars for Q1? Yeah, those are the questions from my side. Thank you.
We'll answer all the questions together. So anybody else, some questions?
Hi,
morning
thank
to-
you. Sorry. Thank you. Two questions. Keeping in mind the aspirations that we carry for next 5 years, if you can also throw some light on the capital allocation in terms of what kind of capex outlook we would be looking at. Second is with regard to the liberty in terms of capital deployment. Keeping in mind Marsh has a different approach to the its own strategy. What kind of independence has been committed to the organization so that they can also equally focus on India business? Thank you.
Okay.
Good
Anybody
morning to
else?
all.
Yeah.
My name is Tushar Soda and I have come from Mumbai. Many congratulations for the fantastic results for March 23 as well as for the first quarter. Sir, the journey of Tasty Bites has been a fabulous from growing an organization from a Sikh industrial unit to a company within top 1000 listed entities in India. Many compliments for the same. Sir, the company is at an inflection point and I believe that it can catapult its performance to the next level and it will definitely create substantial value for all the stakeholders. A fabulous growth of 27%, all-time high revenues of 490 crores and a threefold net profit rise of 30 crores. Sir, in the first quarter itself, the net profit has been 13 crores. So we are hopeful and confident, rather more confident than hopeful, that it will cross 45 to 50 crores for 24. Sir, against the EPS of constant crossing of 100 rupees in last 7 years out of, except 1 year, the EPS was 40. The last 5 years, EPS has always crossed 100, with the latest EPS being 117. So the dividend is stagnant at only rupees 2. I request the entire board to please consider return of capital to the shareholders. Sir, the entire team at Tasty Bites has done exceptional skills and dedication in improving the processing capabilities despite the surging raw material cost and consequent inflation impacting us. So due to this super quarterly results, even the market price has surged to 17,000, which is in the upper circuit of 20%. Only buyers in the counter, no sellers. So the long-term borrowings since last 3 years have reduced from 49 crores to 44 crores and further to 33 crores this year. Can we be total debt-free in the next 3 to 5 years? The revenue mix, I feel the previous shareholder has already covered that point. So revenue mix is 71% for consumer and 29% for food services. Going forward, can we expect some changes in this? Sir, the PAT margins are very low at 6.17. In 2020-21, there was almost 10%. For the first quarter, there has been a superb increase of about 13%. Can we expect this trend to continue, increase in profit after tax margins? Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tushar.
Okay, good morning, sir. My name is Raju Baheti.
Okay.
Sir, very much congratulations for your good performance. But I want to ask one thing. Our EBITDA is coming down compared to pre-COVID area. And also the PAT. Tushar also talk about that. And our capital is 25 million. Reserves are 100 times more than that. So you are keeping the reserves for any capital expenditure, and what capital expenditure you are doing, please explain that. And dividend policy, already Tushar explained that. What is the dividend policy? Only 2 rupees out of 100 rupees EPS. That I not understand. Only increasing the reserve and not the dividend. And second point is that our promoter holding is 74%, more than 74% on the border. Who is our promoters and who are the first 10 shareholders occupying more than 5%? You not mentioned in the annual report. Just now I took the annual report, I read only that thing. Might be this there, I have not read. And our EBITDA, and last year I talk about this plant visit for the persons, those who are present in the meeting, they are interested to see the what exactly going in the company. And there are some persons, they went there, but they not call me or so many other shareholders also. So I request you to please conduct the plant visit for the names, those who are present over here. And one point is that, sir, the testified is the organic food. What exactly meaning of organic? Because if the food is the organic only, we are not using the inorganic chemicals and all this thing, I understand. But whether we are using or manufacturing the oil with our franchises or that is also organic, that means it is natural. I want to ask, is it natural product totally or using the all natural fertilizers? So please explain that thing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good morning, sir. My name is Bimal Panchal. I'm from Mumbai, sir. The capex plant, which was 3-4 years back, has been fully exhausted, I think. And for going from 500 crores to 2,000 crores, what are the capex are we planning? That's one question. And also, we are missing the last year. There was a good video display of this journey testy bites, but this year we are missing that. That gives a proper thing. And regarding the factory visit also, we are coming from the Mumbai, and the time given by that was not flexible. So arrange a factory visit in such a manner that we from the Mumbai properly participate in the visit. So. And company addressed fully transparency and highest corporate governance, be it like conducting AGM even in the Corona period. We have been conducting since last 3 years in this auditorium a physical meeting, whereas in lots of good reputed company are avoiding the shareholders. That's we are not doing. That's a very highly appreciable one. And you are also uploading full video of this AGM as well as analyst meet. And, so on page number 19, share price and market cap has been given. So I think this one pertains to 31st March. So my request to give us this price of weighted average. So this will give a proper these things. And now this many people price has been with 20% upper. So with the entry of a reputed analyst, it will go further. We hope. That's. I wish all the best in the coming years to come. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, I'm Aspi Besania from Bombay. So today we missed 2 physical meetings in Bombay just to come here.
Oh,
There's L&T and Hawkins Cookers. Both we missed just to come here.
because we are the future.
Thank you.
Thank
Sir,
you very much.
I welcome you at the outset as our new chairman, and with your footfalls, the company started doing well. So I hope it continues to do well with your footfalls.
Thank you.
So Mr. Shahid Shah in his statement mentioned that we will soon be welcoming a new MD. Who is this new MD? Is it due to this that the resolution for reappointment of whole-time director is from 1st January to only 11th May 24?
Mm-hmm.
Is it due to that? You should have introduced a new MD over here.
So we'll introduce him at the right time,
Okay.
at the right place.
So our Prime Minister imports organic fruits and vegetables for himself and his group. Can we not make organic fruit and vegetables so that we can save precious foreign exchange? Just try that. Sir, tomato prices have gone up so much, so demand for tomato paste and puri must have increased. Sir, we have bank accounts with only 2 banks, and that too unknown banks, Mizuho Bank and MUFG Bank. Why don't you open accounts with HDFC or ICICI or something? So please request the new company secretary to send physical annual report where email is not given. Because I have purposely not given email ID so that I get physical reports.
Okay.
But still I don't get. And sir, do not issue bonus shares or split the shares. I want our share price to compete with MRF. And do not even increase the dividend. Keep 2 rupees dividend only. Thank you very much and all the best for the future.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I just have, good morning everyone, this is Harini Dedia. I just have a couple of questions. One was, while there's been a tremendous growth that we've seen year on year, even from four to quarter one, our expenses haven't gone up. I'm a big fan of that, but I just want to understand how did you guys manage that? Is there something different in the new lines that we are operating where the labor intensity has come off, or is there something that we've changed in the factory layout? If you can just help us understand that. And the second question, which Mr. Poddar referred to, that we should ask Mr. Jadhav, that if you can help elaborate on the different initiatives that you've taken on supply chain management to mitigate any food inflation risks that might come up, and just your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Sir, hello. Sir, sir, with your permission, I just want to add a couple of more points. Sir, Mars has acquired this company in the year 2017. So just curious to know what kind of synergies we have got from Mars, and what are the other potential synergies one can expect in the longer term. And since we have some representatives from Mars present in the AGM, so if just would love to hear their thoughts and perspective, how they look at Tasty White as a company over the next 5 to 10 years. That will be very helpful.
Okay, so should we start answering your questions? On the financials, I'll ask Milind to please reply to, and then I'll add. There were questions on CapEx.
EBITDA reducing.
The dividend policy, the dividend of ₹2.
Hello. By the time, hello.
Yeah.
This is Dhananjay Zogadekar, one of the oldest shareholders of this company, might be around 25 years or so. By the time they prepare for the answers, I want to put a couple of observations on the company. That from a very small company or almost a sick unit to the glorious tenure, this is excellent journey. I think shareholders have no reason to be unhappy about it, and then excellent performance, whether 2 rupees or 3 rupees is a matter of no concern, because the share price is so much that it is far more than rewarded than anything else. I think you can continue with the same policy over here. So far as the food business is concerned, are we considering any millets opportunities? Because this millets is one of the things which is getting international recognition nowadays, and we are here where the millet production is also very high. Millet-based products are also very good and have got very ready market as well, internationally as well. So whether are we considering anything to do with the millets in the coming years? That is my question. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, let's start answering the question, query regarding the reduction in the PAT and EBITDA. So just would like to share with you that before COVID, we used to get a lot of export incentives to the extent of 5%, which has now been stopped actually. That is one of the primary reason why our PAT is down. Next one. Okay, please. What is the question? So I really can't comment on how much capex we are going to incur in the ensuing years. Am I audible to all?
You stand up, Milind, you stand. And
okay. So regarding the query, how much capex are we going to incur in future? I would like to refrain from commenting on this as of now. But yes, company, what I can assure you is company would continue to invest in furthering the growth prospects, improving the quality of the product, its R&D facilities around environment, health and safety, so on and so forth. Thank you.
I would like to add to that is you have to think from the end of the consumer, not only in terms of the factory. The investment will be at the consumer end in building up the Tasty Bites brand in this country. And that is where the investment will be focused on, not only on the factory. On the factory, we have got enough capacity. We'll have to streamline our portfolio to suit the Indian consumers' needs, and that is where we'll be investing. So there's going to be a change in investments. It's not just investing in the factory, but it's investment in the consumer. Building up the brand that needs a lot of investment, and we don't have the Tasty Bites brand in this country at all. And it will need at least 3 to 5 years to build this brand. Which parent's brand name? Mars. Mars Confectionaries is in this country. $500 million business is breaking even this year.
I'll take the next question, which was basically the bifurcation between the food service business and the consumer business. So, in Q1 of fiscal 23-24, so consumer business contributes around 75% of our total business, and the balance is contributed by food service business. Thank you.
There was a question on outsourcing partner to Mars. Don't look at this as an outsourcing partner to Mars. It's an integral part of Mars. And this factory is an integral part of Mars. It's not an outsourcing partner to Mars. That perspective should change from our minds as shareholders. We are a part of Mars, and we should be growing as a whole-time partner of Mars. So it's not an outsourcing partner of Mars.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about independence to Mars. What independence do you have in mind? This is a global company, runs on global values, and it is run on very strategic values. And those values has made Mars into a huge company. $50 billion is the turnover globally. $50 billion is a huge company, one of the rarest companies. It's still held by the family, and they are not in the open market. India is the only example of being invested in the open market. So Mars is using India as an investment to grow in the future. And that is the point of inflection one talks about, both within the company as well as outside, as we know India is at the point of inflection. And we have got all the independence to do whatever we think is right in India. If that is the independence you're looking at, we have all the independence that is required. And that is independence of selecting the people, independence of building the brand, independence of delivering on higher results. Which company in the world has given this sort of growth? No company has given a growth of 27%. That is the independence we talk about. Not what the media carries, I'm talking about the political independence that we talk about.
Yeah.
One minute. I'll come back to on the dividend policy, as some of you have said 2 rupees is good enough because the value of the stocks are so high. But we'll revisit the dividend policy, and very soon we'll come up with a dividend policy. We should be gracious to the investors because you have held, as Mr. Joglekar mentioned, 25 years. You have held on to the stock, and thanks to you, the company, as you said, is small, will no longer be small. And that is the purpose of the company. You cannot exist if you're small. You have to grow, and grow to at least a 2,000 crore company, which will make a lot of difference. 2,000 crores in Indian rupees makes a lot of difference. In dollar terms, it doesn't make sense, but in Indian rupees, 2,000 crores is a big amount. And that is what we should be going for in the next 5 to 7 years.
So, sir, my question is that about the dividend policy means what exactly, how much
I know, I know. No, I know, I know.
I am also very much old shareholder. Our office, as at Yeroda, in small room, is the meeting was going on. I am from the shareholder. 2 rupees of that time is okay.
I know, I know.
But when we are earning the more than 100 rupees, even though nowadays any small company, they are distributing this thing to the shareholders.
Absolutely. No, that's
That
why
is not,
said-
I am not comparing with the price. Today is the 70,000, might be tomorrow is the 50,000. Even though MRP is also giving nowadays they are giving the more dividend.
No, that's why I said we'll be revisiting the dividend policy.
Dividend policy you have to
Yeah,
declare.
yeah,
We have,
absolutely.
only we are giving 2 rupees and we are consuming our money for the expansion. Then EPS you have to immediately
Absolutely.
convert
No,
it.
your
That
point
I
is
want
very
to
valid.
ask.
No,
this thing.
your point is very valid. So we'll be revisiting the dividend policy and coming back to you next year very soon.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Plant visit you mentioned. Plant visit was appreciated by the people who went, but not many people were called in. So you should be
Definitely.
calling in
We will.
many more people. Okay.
No, sir. Definitely, we will do that. Last
No,
time we have done one visit, and we are in process of arranging another also. So that time we will keep into mind that you have been called, and we will do. But sure, we will consider that. Certainly consider.
No, because of the rains, we stopped the visit. After the rains, we'll come in again. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
How will contact for plant visit? You have to register here or you have to register here for plant visit or?
No. You somebody.
How will you come to know the date? Exactly?
Company secretary will call you. They will in contact with you all, and then there is a limit because we can arrange only few people because it's a food factory on the safety background. We cannot take plenty full of people and one go. So we will restrict it to about 15-20 people. And in that group, we will take the visits. We have taken one. We will arrange, as chairman has said, in October, November, we will arrange another one. So we will come in back and contact you. So definitely
We have to
somebody from
contact company secretary. We have to contact company
In
secretary.
fact, I would suggest that today, since you're here, you can register your name for the plant visit.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yeah, that should be
So
fine.
attended the message should go to them.
Pardon?
Those who are attending the meeting,
Yeah.
the message should go to them.
Okay, absolutely.
That
Good
is
point.
the list is available with you.
No, good point.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You can register your names, whoever wants to visit the factory, and we will take it immediately after the monsoons. The lady asked, what is the magic in reducing the expenses? So I'll ask Milind to explain the magic that he played to reduce the fixed expenses.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question actually. What I can do is rather than elaborating it right now, because there were several measures which we took, right? Your question has been duly noted. We will get back to you on email regarding what all steps which we have taken to control and cover costs.
No, one thing I'll tell you, we look at costs, there's a difference, a cost and an investment. Fixed costs that are there, we should reduce the fixed cost and variabilize the cost to the extent possible. And that is what we are using here. And that is what I've used in my life as the managing director of Heinz and as the global president of Water for Tatas. And that has brought in instant results. And that is what I did to Monsanto as well in this country. And that is what I have told Milind to do, and he has done it very well. That is the magic we use. It's no magic, but it's using your mind. The second question you had was the supply chain management, and we have been led by a very good person called Ankit. And Ankit, you can answer. He has brought in tremendous supply chain advantages to the company.
It's a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. My name is Ankit. I had the supply chain and the supplier quality assurance function for the company. I think a lot of interesting questions I see from a lot of stakeholders, especially when the world is grappling with inflation. India is not alone. We have seen inflation, US, Europe, other parts of the world. I think as a major strategy, we really focus on building a long-term partnership with our partners. So there are various ways to look at it. For example, we are the first company probably in India and also in the history of Mars to forge a 3-year freight contracts with one of the largest shipping lines, especially when freight prices went up. It was $14,000, $15,000 last year. We inked a deal at about $7,000, $8,000, keeping in mind that factory has to run and reduce our cost. So there are obviously different strategies to mitigate a very, very high inflationary environment. We have been very, very fortunate to be associated with very good minds, with support from Pradeep sir, Mr. Rajan Jadhav and Milin. I think forging a deep alliance, bringing in efficiencies into your supply chain by looking at every single cost element. And one thing that I typically would say, we have a function called market intelligence within the company that typically tracks all the major aspects, okay, on all major key categories and try to hedge a large portion of it in time. So when we speaking about tomatoes, as of now, we've already hedged all our annual sourcing on tomatoes in the month of January and February. When the world was going through Ukraine crisis, last year, and Ukraine happens to be one of our partners for organic oil imports, by the time the escalation went to an extent that we can no longer ship, we had proactively moved all our shipments from Ukraine into India without impacting any production, right? So one, we were able to mitigate our cost. Secondly, we were also able to ensure that the plant continuously run in the most efficient manner. So, I have got many things to talk about it, but I will leave it at this point of time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. There was a question on the Mars participation, so I'd ask Dave and Emma to enlighten the audience.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you, one, for your passion for this business and your ongoing commitment. It's sincerely appreciated. There were a number of questions that got asked, so I will try to address them all together. And I think one of the questions was, how has there been synergy with Mars and the Tasty Bite business over the last 6 years? Ankit has shared some examples with you. Synergies works in a number of areas. There can be cost synergies. When Ankit was seeing freight costs at $10,000, $12,000 a container, he was working with the Mars Ocean Freight team to try to figure out how to bring that cost down and get better contracts. Those are some examples, but synergies can also come in other areas. The quality and food safety agenda around the world from our retailers is changing. Governments are putting in more regulation. That's where Mars is providing capability and synergy to the Tasty Bite business to bring up our standards so that we can continue to expand our business. So synergies comes in also in the form of capability. In terms of, there was a question around innovation and also specifically around millets, for example. If you go back to 2020, 21, when COVID was happening, our focus as a business was just business continuity on what we have today. So innovation, everything slowed down. Now that there's more stability in the business, we have gotten back to developing more innovation. With the Tasty Bite Research Center, just in the last year, we've developed over 80 new products. And some of those are for the food service business here in India, and many of them are for the consumer business, also on Tasty Bite in the US. But there is also innovation on the Mars brand that we've worked together with the Tasty Bite Research Center to develop. We have a plant-based product that sells in the UK and France. We have a new launches in the US under Seeds of Change and Ben's Original. And I can tell you, as we look at the pipeline over the next 3 to 5 years, there will be more innovation, and much of that innovation will be in partnership with the research center. As you're all aware, we've invested in a new research facility here in Pune, and that's going to be the incubation for future innovation. And there was also a question on growth prospects for the future. While we don't comment on forward-looking things, What I can tell you is our aspiration is to continue to accelerate the pace of growth. COVID was unexpected. The inflation over the last 2 years was unexpected. The war in Ukraine was unexpected, but we've been able to manage through that really well. And now our focus is on growth acceleration, and we continue to feel optimistic about that in the future. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dave. That was brilliant. Emma?
Well, thank you, Dave. Not much to add. I would say yes. What is really impressive, and I think really gives us confidence about the Tasty Bite business as Mars, is in fact some of the synergies we've invested into the past 5 years are already starting to pay off. I mean, there were questions on cost savings. How did we manage that? Definitely leveraging some of the processes within Mars we use on value leadership, how we look at our products end to end and really focus on what matters to the consumer and keep costs down everywhere else. I think this has started to pay off and creates value for the company. Innovation, clearly, as well, as was mentioned. We are able now to launch new innovations, whether it's under Tasty Bites or other food brands, as you mentioned. And there's definitely much more. So we remain very committed. There's great potential we see in Tasty Bites offer in terms of bringing healthy, nutritious, convenient type of food. And we also know there's really big potential in India as a local market. So I think on that point as well gives us the confidence we are there for the long term.
Thank you. Now I'll shift. I think people have not asked a question, but I will ask Dr. Chingappa to enlighten the audience on the CSR activity.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm very happy to mention the Tasty Bite Eatables Limited has established a Tasty Bite Foundation, and this foundation has been in existence for the last 3 years. The very purpose of this is the company, we should pay back to the society, and as per the government of India stipulation, 2% of the company's profit should be utilized for CSR activities. And I'm very happy to mention in the last 2 years of our existence, we have partnered with the Krishi Vigyana Kendra of Baramati. They are doing a very good work in and around our factory area. We are using a cluster approach. We have chosen 2-3 clusters in and around our factory area. So we are trying to help the farmers in conservation of water, conservation of soil, and also intensification of the cropping pattern, introduce new crops like soya bean, etc., so that they can earn more money, and the same thing with livestock activity. The second one is the capacity building of the farm women. I'm very happy to mention we have partnered with the American India Foundation, which is started by Bill Clinton, and they have given us an innovative model. We have established some rural BPOs wherein the rural women can get trained in computers and tailoring, and they have been employed by some of the companies, and some of them can work from home. And even the tailoring, etc., it has helped them to get some job in the Baramati Textile Park and also on their own. So overall, in the last 2.5 years, we have touched about 1,200 families. We are able to improve their livelihood and also earn a decent living. This was possible because of the Tasty Bite undertaking this under the foundation. And actually, we are looking forward for people to contribute more so that this foundation can take more activities. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Doctor. So in the absence of any further questions. Yeah,
there was one question pending from to be answered from our side actually, and it was regarding the shareholding pattern. So the first one was over the top 10 shareholders. So you may kindly refer page number 85 of our annual report. That will give you the list of shares held by top shareholders. Another question was how many, who are the holders who hold more than 1%, 5%, sorry, of shareholders. So there is only one shareholder, which is Preferred Brands, Foods Brands International Private Limited, which holds 74.22% shares of Tasty Bite Eatables Limited. That too is mentioned on page number 84. Thank you.
Are we planning for a stock split or bonus?
No, not really, not as of this point.
And just a reason for I'm telling this, because see, my daughter got a new job. I may be earning, but I have a lot of shares, but my daughter got a new job. She says she wants to buy. After saving her 1 month's salary or all expenses, she can't buy even one stock, she was saying. So please put this question in the AGM, she was saying. Let us also participate, she was saying. That's the reason I put this question.
No, I love your daughter for a thought. But we'll think about it and get back to you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Since you mentioned we have enough capacity, do we have any guidance on complete capacity utilization in, say, recent future?
Yeah, in the next 3 years, our capacity should be full. What capacity we have, depending upon the portfolio. And I'm talking in terms of an optimistic chairman. So this capacity should be fully utilized in the next 3 years' time.
Okay. And one more question related to the Mars. Do we have any offtake commitments from the Mars in terms of products? And can you guide on that? Do we have any offtake commitments?
So no.
Offtake commitments. Offtake.
No, there is no take or pay commitment with Mars.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Sir, I have some follow-up questions. So you mentioned that the company has to spend some brand building expenditure to get more visibility for the brand Tasty Bite.
It's
So
not-
whether this expenditure will be incurred from the balance sheet profit and loss account of Tasty Bite, or we will get some support from Mars on this side?
No, it is Tasty Bites is an independent company.
Okay.
So it will generate its own funds and invest behind the brands.
Okay. And sir, another just follow-up question. You mentioned that we have a plan of reaching about 2,000 crores of sales in the next 5 years. With the current product mix, what kind of growth we can see, or what is the optimum turnover we can expect? And
As I said, the capacity will be utilized in next 3 years' time. Today our capacity is about 57% utilized.
okay, so with the current infrastructure, we can go to that 2,000.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you, sir.
One more question. Are we going to increase visibility within Indian market
Yeah,
or
Indian
overseas?
Indian market.
Indian market, but what is that? What has been the earlier experience?
No, I know, but that was inexperience.
No, but that was, I mean, as a shareholder, I must mention
I know.
that was a disaster.
I know.
And then on the backdrop of that, if we are again venturing into it.
No, again venturing into building up the India business. And it's not the same people who are trying to do it.
People, I know that is. But then products, are we going to be in retail market as well in India?
Yeah. That is what the way we build the brand.
When is the launch proposed?
You're asking questions that are no answers today, but within the next 6 months you'll have your answers.
Okay, great.
I would like to add that we have been very fortunate to select a brilliant person as our managing director. He'll be joining the company from 1st of September, and we'll let you know the person's name then and there.
I have one question. As you are saying, there will be a lot of investment in building the brand.
Yeah.
Why do you want to build the brand from scratch? Can't we just piggyback on Mars brand itself for India market?
Mars brand in India doesn't exist. It is only confectionery. In foods, it doesn't have anything.
Yes, I agree. So it is only in confectionery. So is it?
Confectionery, they have a separate division. They are running it. As I said, it's $500 million business in India already. We are going to leverage the distribution reach, which reaches out to 15 lakh outlets, and at a very marginal cost. And that is a huge cost to any company.
So Mars brand confectionery extending to the food service is challenging, more challenging than building Tasty Bite?
Not food service. Food service in this country doesn't exist. It's hardly profitable. That is where the purchasing power parity comes into play. In India, the food service business will take years to evolve to the level it has evolved in the US, in Japan, and in Europe.
Okay. And is our understanding correct? This 500 crore to 2000 crore journey, majority of that will happen from the domestic market instead of.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
So,
Obviously, more than that. Today, our margins are very soft. In food business, our margins should be much higher.
so sorry, two follow-ups. Land parcel that we have in Pune, would that be enough to support our 2000 crore turnover? So it will be all.
Not necessary. We can outsource. We can get products from other people as well. The brand is important. That is where we talk about creating a brand.
Got it. And just a confirmation, the journey that we described from 500 to 2000, India playing a critical role out there. So we are talking about Tasty Bite as a brand taking it over.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
There was an organic question, I will answer that.
Yeah. We'll answer the organic question.
So you have a question on organic food. What is mean by organic food? I'm very happy to say that today the entire portfolio, out of entire portfolio, 70% portfolio is under organic. And meaning of organic is basically there are two types. One is you were looking for is like a clean label and organic. Clean label is one where you have your formulation, and if you are adding any preservative, any chemical, anything, then that is called as not clean label. It's not organic. Organic is one where the ingredients also added into the formulation are coming from the field where there is no fertilizer, there is no chemicals added. And to get that, we have to wait for at least 3 to 4 years for that farm, because to certify that farm organic, it requires minimum 3 years. It goes up to 5 years also. So we today are sitting on almost 700 ingredients, and getting that 700 ingredient in the organic form is a very Herculean task, which Ankit is leading the supply chain team, procurement team, is doing that justice to that job. And with that, we are very proud to say that 70% portfolio in America saying organic, it is 100% organic. Not a single ingredient is drawn from the farm where the fertilizers have been added. So it's a very, very Herculean task which Ankit is doing. And we last 7 years running this journey of organic, we have aimed to reach up to 100% organic also. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Correct. Very hard task. And we are on that since last 10 years. 7 years we are in the US market. There was a question on millet also. So very happy to say that yes, we are there. If you see the display, and somebody asked about the Mars products also, though we have started Mars products year back manufacturing, there are 7-8 SKUs we are manufacturing. Few of that SKUs are millet based. The gut health 10th, you can see the product there. It's the product made out of barley, out of bajra, and it's doing fantastic. It's just launched in UK market and America market, but it is a product out of millet. We as a Tasty Bite brand also have 1 or 2 products which are millet based product, but definitely there are a couple of products in the pipeline where our R&D, that is research team, is working upon. We know the value of millet, we know the value of plant protein, and we will be definitely taking this ahead. Thank you.
Mention of millet was for the simple reason that somebody is just grinding jwari in Maharashtra and selling it as gluten-free flour in US at 10 times the price of what they are getting in India. So that was one of the big opportunities which is available, and now with the international year around, there are more incentives from the government as well.
Correct.
Thank you.
Rama would like to throw some light, enlighten on the people.
I'm just very glad to be part of this organization. I mean, I joined as an independent director 5 years back. And, I spoke to Mr. Patel, who had been as an independent director for a much longer time. And he said that he's been a director in many other companies, but there is no other company which has had the governance and the insistence on governance and culture building as Tasty Bite has been. And that has been my experience as well. And so, as you all know, that's the most important part of the engagement of a company for a growth, for the collaboration, for the company to be built. I'm really proud to be engaged with the company which has that as its ethos. So,
Is mine on? Yeah. I think you all have seen me here for many, many years, and I'm always glad to meet all of you once a year. As was mentioned that I'm the chairman of the audit committee, so my background is finance. And one thing I'd like to assure you that your money is exceptionally well spent by the company. It's invested in the factory. We have an excellent factory. And I visited the factory after 2 years because, of the COVID period, and I could not believe the improvement in the factory. It was difficult to recognize. But this is what the team has done. And I think the factory is the launching pad for the company as it goes forward to meeting its targets. And whatever money we have not paid by way of dividends, I think the previous chairman used to say that it's all invested in the company. And I assure you that that is what has happened. And that will most probably be the building block for the future. So from a finance point of view, I can assure you that the company maintains the highest standards, and we've got excellent auditors amongst the top 4 in the country, and they also see that we adhere to the strictest standards as far as finance goes. So I have great pleasure in saying that this company's ethics and financial standards are of the highest order, and it will always remain that way. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we bring this thing to a closure today. Thank you very much for participating, and kindly register your name for the plant visit. Don't forget that. Thank you. Thank you.